Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Vogelheim here on behalf of Response Logics. We're so pleased to have what we consider, industry industry thought leaders as we have our regular webinars. We've had a couple this month. Our second one is Jim Ziegler. Jim Ziegler, as we know him, is back. We had a little bit of a technical glitch his first time through about a month back, and he's so gracious he agreed to come back and talk to all of you. And if you don't know, Jim Ziegler, as we like to refer to him, the Alpha Dog, mostly because that's how he refers to himself. But again, been doing this for 35 years. He's been talking to the dealers, talking about what the customer relation should be, and has certainly got some great insight on social media and some real-world practical advice on using it in a way that makes sense for the dealers. Jim, it's all yours.
Okay, is my screen up?
It is.
Very good. So I just want to show off my little granddaughter. Has nothing to do with this event.
That's
okay. Okay, today we're going to be talking about Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and how to really sell cars using the social mediums. In 1928, reporters asked bank robber Willie Sutton why he robbed banks. And his answer at the time was because that's where the money is. Well, why do you want to be on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook? Well, frankly, because that's where the people are. The advertising crowd has moved, and with nearly 800 million, approaching 1 billion people on Facebook, 38% of those people are U.S. citizens. There's a lot of opportunity, but the problem is that most car people haven't got the clue how to work these social mediums because it's a complete different mindset. It's not so much selling as it is creating a relationship and pulling rather than pushing, pull marketing rather than push marketing. It's a whole different thing. Now, on the screen right now, Charlie, is everybody looking at my Facebook page, I believe? Now, this Facebook page is my personal page. I'm going to get into fan pages here in a minute. But I want you to notice, first of all, that when you look at my personal page here, I've got right at 4,725 people that are friends and followers. Now, the majority of those people are in the automobile industry because the automobile dealers are my customers. So, in other words, I've targeted my customers, and if you notice, I have a lot of activity happening on this page. I'm keeping the people engaged. They're coming back. There's a little bit of advertising on the page, but for the most part, it's just, you'll find some advertising here and some here for the upcoming events. But for the most part, it's a social interaction with the people that I'm doing business with. So let's see here. Next thing I'd like to show you about the Facebook page is the Facebook fan pages. Now, personally, I've got quite a few of them. This is the Internet Battle Plan page. I've got Jim Ziegler Car Guy. I've got a couple of them. But if you notice, the thing about the fan pages that makes them unique are these little sidebars right here. If you notice, I just clicked on YouTube. It's bringing up my YouTube page without exporting you off the fan page. So there's my YouTube channel. There's the Internet Battle Plan. It can play right off the page. And I'm telling dealers to use a lot of video today. We're going to talk about video, and I know you can't hear. There's no sound coming up on this, but this is my YouTube page playing right off of the Facebook page without being exported. The people are still here. My Twitter blog, same difference. Now, one thing that dealers can do, you can post your inventory on your Facebook fan page. And I'm talking about putting it in a button right here, whether you use HomeNet or however you load down to, say, AutoTrader, whatever you do, you can have 100% of your inventory here on the side page. You can have your blog, and my blog is right there. So once again, you get a lot of information to people without exporting them away from your page. The biggest single benefit that car dealers can have using Facebook, I'm going to go back to my personal page for a second. using Facebook, the biggest benefit is the ability to advertise and to interact with people. Going down all the way to the bottom of the page, it takes a second because it keeps reloading. But if you'll notice at the very bottom of the page, it says advertising right there. And when we click on that, it's going to take us to a page that is and I'm live on the internet, by the way, so if it moves a little slow or stalls out, don't be offended by that. I'm not using a PowerPoint. I'm live right now on the internet. Now notice these are some of the campaigns that I have run in the past. I'm about to start another one, and notice the most money I've spent on a Facebook campaign so far has been $508. So we're not talking about a lot of money, but the results, this is some of the cheapest pay-per-click and the most effective pay-per-click I've ever used. Let's go up here to the top for 1 second and hit create an ad right there. Let's go ahead and do that. Now this is the screen that will come up, and I'm telling you, if I were a car dealer today, I would be using Facebook for a lot of my advertising, because once again, that's where the people are. Okay, first of all, it says destination right up here at the top. I'm going to go to an external URL. I'm going to send these people somewhere else. I'm going to send them to www.zieglerseminars.com. Okay, anybody that clicks on this is going to go to zieglerseminars.com. That's where we're exporting. And then I'm going to title this ad Jim's Big Ass Sale. Okay, we got Jim's Big Ass Sale. It's going to send them to zieglerseminars.com, and Ziegler is giving away tons of free stuff, whatever you want to say. I'm just putting a body in the ad right there. 2-for-1 exchange on Grant Cardone merchandise, whatever you want to say. Doesn't matter. But anyway, put some stuff in there and put your body of your ad together. Now, then you can choose the picture you want to go with it, and I just picked something quick off my desktop. Okay, that picture just loaded in. Right now, this is what the ad's going to look like so far. That's the ad right there. That's what people are going to see. Now, it's okay to have an ad, but you've got to really be good at targeting that ad. So let's see where I'm going to send that ad. First of all, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, so I'm going to go by city. Okay, well, of course, I'm going to say Atlanta. Now, notice Atlanta, Georgia drops down, and when I plug in Atlanta, Georgia, kind of cool, I can reach 1,552,220 people. Now, watch that number change as I add more cities. Kind of cool. It shows you exactly what you're managing to do there. Okay, I'm going to add in Macon, Georgia. When I add in Macon, Georgia, it goes up to 1,788,000 people. And now I'm going to add in Augusta, Georgia. At that point, I'm over 2 million adults. Okay, that's cities within 50 miles of downtown Atlanta. Of each of those cities, I'm going to tighten that radius up to 25 miles. Now, that number will drop, not substantially, because the cities have the most of the population. The next demographic I'm going to work with is the people's age. Now, really, 18-year-olds can buy cars, but I'm going to start out at age 25. I'm going to cap it out. Let's pretend I'm selling Hyundais. I'm going to cap this out at 40 years of age, 41. At that point, I've got 1,363,000 people. That's okay. I dropped the demographic down, But now I want everybody to take a real special look at what I'm about to do here. Right there it says, okay, hang on one second, let me grab that. Okay, there it is. Right there it says, switch to precise interest targeting. Everybody sees that? Okay, we're going to get a little fancy here. First of all, I'm still in these three cities, within 25 miles of downtown. Adults aged 25 to 41, men and women. You can target men or women individually, but now let's say I want to target an interest like tennis. I don't, but let's say I did. If I dropped it down to tennis, I'd only be reaching 26,880 people who are in those categories that have an interest in tennis. So I'm going to take that out. I don't use that targeting much for auto dealers. What I'm looking at for auto dealers, and this gets really specialized, workplaces. Now this is really cool. I mean, everybody pay real close attention to what I'm about to do here. I'm going to say U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I've only got 20 of those people. Let's do something a little bigger. U period S period. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Watch this. Why did I not think of this? UPS. Okay, United Parcel Service. I'm only going to reach 700 people in that area, in that profession. And you say, well, Ziegler, why would you want to advertise to 700 people? What if I put together a special sale promotion targeted at UPS workers? And I put that specific employer in there, and then I put a pay-per-click of $1.10 or whatever I do. I'm not going to spend that much money, but I can put together a special promotion for people that work at a certain hospital, people that work at a certain manufacturer, any number of things you can do with very specialized target niched advertising. This has been some of the most productive stuff we have done. It's really pretty good. You can target any number of things there. Let's see. I can go hospitals, whatever you want to do. I'm only reaching 20 people with that particular subject, but then I can make it very special. Once you've done that, Facebook here is saying a maximum bid of $1.55. I don't believe that. Matter of fact, I'm going to bid per click 98 cents. Because in the car business, we're targeting some pretty tight, specific demographics. I think I could probably get that a little cheaper. Now, let's go back up here. It says campaign name is my ads. I'm going to put big-ass sale. And I can limit it to $50 a day, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to limit it to a lifetime budget of $500. Another zero would help. So at this point, I put my credit card in there, and it's already done. At 98 cents a click, when I hit $500, that ad campaign stops. I'm going to start that campaign today. I'm going to run that campaign through January 27th, or when the $500 runs out, whichever comes first. And of course, if I was to hit that ad right now, I'd accidentally buy it, which I really do not want to do. But the way I've got this thing laid out, and I took the specific company demographic out, in those three cities, I'm reaching in my demographic 1,363,380 people right there. And those are only people that fit that demographic. Matter of fact, I've used a lot of specific search words. Grant Cardone used to be one of my best search words till he called me. But a lot of good stuff you can do there with Facebook. Going away from Facebook for a second, I'm going to leave that up. Matter of fact, I'm going to take it off of that so I don't accidentally buy that ad. I'll go back to my page. The next thing I'm going to do is take a little look at YouTube. Now, you are not going to be able to hear the YouTube audio, but you're going to be able to see the video. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is my video started playing automatically. You know, as soon as the video came up, it started playing. I've got it all set. And pretty easy to do. You've got controls to do that. Notice I have literally hundreds of videos on this site. The first thing I'm going to say is that every dealer watching this needs a YouTube channel. And the reason you want a YouTube channel is in the next couple of years, 80% or more of all online content is going to be video. 80%. You know, back when we had Web 1.0, which was flat text, and then Web 2.0, which was photography and a little bit of audio, and then Web 3.0 is broadband streaming video. We've got a lot of that. And consumers are used to it. Video is easy to make, it's cheap to make, it's quick to edit. And I'm telling you right now, video is selling a lot of cars for us. So you need your own YouTube channel where all your videos are in one place and all your SEO is concentrated around your dealership's name. Now, if you want to take a look at mine when we get off, my YouTube channel is right here. It's youtube.com/James A. Ziegler. That's my YouTube channel. You can find it pretty easily. Just head there for a second. And you can't hear these, but these are testimonials from my customers. My customers are you, the dealers. So when I do a seminar, I'm very quick to throw a camera in somebody's face and say, did you have a good experience here? How was this seminar? Did you enjoy it? Did you learn anything? If I were a dealer right now, I would be videoing every single customer on delivery with their car, smiling, laughing, testimonial. I'd put that on my Facebook fan page. I would put it on my YouTube channel. And then I would also put it, I would actually tag the person in it on Facebook where it would appear on their page. So their friends and neighbors would see them happy getting delivery of their car. A lot of symbiosis there. Watch this. When you put up a video, this is what the back screen looks like on YouTube. Now notice I have a long description of my video right there. And in that are several URLs. And by the way, when I put this video up, that will appear as a live link in the description of the video. And then the next thing we did was I used the same search words, the same tags in every single video, which compounds the SEO. Over here, date and time, start using the geographic. Now this one, let's move that. Okay, I just moved that to New York. I'm going to hit Save the Changes. So I just recorded where that seminar was held. No matter how many of my videos you go to, you will see a similar pattern of SEO. Same thing once again. Same words. Let me show you why this is important. I've got a real good friend. He might even be on this thing right now. His name is Randy Holt. Now, Randy is in Alachua, Florida, but his YouTube channel is youtube.com/Gainesville Cars. And, you know, Gainesville is another city. It's not even Alachua. So let's see what happens here. Now, Randy is sort of a character down in Central Florida. I mean, he wears the hat. He's one of the funniest human beings on earth. But I want you to take a look for a second. He's got over 500 videos on this site. 878 views, 2,457 views, 2,195 views. I mean, this guy has got video search engine maximization down to an art. He's selling 125 to 200 cars a month in a pecan orchard in the middle of Florida. I mean, but some of the stuff he's doing is just absolutely brilliant. And no way he should be selling the cars he's selling. But here's a video that he put up, he and his partner Jen here. And they're talking about the cars. And then she does a complete walk around on the car. Very important. You know, like I say, he's got 500 videos on this site, including testimonials from buyers that are just buying the cars. They're doing walk-arounds. The video walk-around is one of the most powerful things. I had a customer recently tell me, Mr. Ziegler, I took your class and I made the video the way that you showed me to make the video. This is a Dodge store in Michigan. And a customer was in another dealer's showroom. Now, try to picture this. A customer was taking delivery, sitting on the couch, waiting to get in the F&I office, playing with her handheld device, and came across our video of our Dodge Challenger, left that dealership, and took delivery of our car based on the video. I've got more war stories, and you got time to listen, about people that have seen a video and actually traveled 50, 60, 70 miles to buy the car. Now, here's what makes Randy so special. I'm going to make this screen a little larger. Let's see, I'm going to zoom in maybe. There we go. What have I got? 172%. Yeah, let's see here. Look at the SEO in the long tail description. This is the whole description that Randy has put. Okay, he's got the phone numbers. He's got SantaFeFord.com, SantaFeFord.com, LocalCarsUSA.com. He's got several URLs in the description. He's got all of the description of the car, very detailed, long-tail description. But then, look at this. This is where it gets brilliant. He's got Gainesville, Lake City, Stark, Ocala, High Springs, Alachua. Look at all the other cities where his competitors are that he has listed right there. Not only that, but he's listed their zip codes. In his description, he has listed the zip codes and the cities of his competitors. And that's absolutely phenomenal, the results the guy's getting. Now, let's say I had a brand new used car come in. Say I had this Mustang come in, and I wanted to let my preferred email list know that I've got this car. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit share, and then I'm going to hit email, and then I'm going to email it to myself. Now, we're doing this in literally hundreds of dealerships. We'll put a video up on YouTube, and you want to put your videos on YouTube. Don't use a proprietary player because YouTube is owned by Google. You want to have your video on YouTube and then put it all over the web, but still in all, park everything on your channel on YouTube. Okay, I've got Ziegler SS at AOL. I'm going to email this video to myself. Send email. Okay, that email was just sent to my own email address. We just did that. I'm going to reduce this screen back to its normal size for a second. Back to 100%. I'm going to go to my email. It's going to take a minute. Might even show up in spam with this one, but we'll see. While that's percolating, and I'm going to let that it takes a second for a YouTube video to arrive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to somebody else's YouTube site, another friend of mine. This young woman, we call her the YouTube diva. Her name is Elise Kephart. She is absolutely phenomenal. She sells a lot of cars. She's one of my proteges, but she does what I do a lot better than I do, I'll tell you. A couple of years ago, I was surfing across the web and looking at a lot of people's YouTube presence, and I came across Elise Kephart. And she was doing exactly what I teach, and she was doing it so much better than what I do. Every customer that inquires on the internet is getting a custom video from Elise Kephart. I mean, she will make this video, edit it, put the phone number on it, and email it to a consumer in less than 7 or 8 minutes. Now, she is one of the speakers at my Internet Battle Plan. That's internetbattleplan.com. And she's going to be teaching people how to do this process. Now, this is her YouTube channel. We're looking at real videos that she sent to real customers. Now, you're not going to be able to hear the audio, but this is what the customer is going to see. She just said, "Hi, Jay. My name is Elise Kephart. I got your email inquiry on a USA Internet Sales," and she's calling this guy by his name. This guy probably just got 4 autoresponders that would probably look like the same crap that everybody else sends out. And then they get a unique video calling them by their name, describing the car. I mean, who would not buy from this woman? She's sending, so now this YouTube site we're looking at here is youtube.com/Elise Kephart. /Sunset Honda. I blew it. youtube.com/Sunset Honda. She drops these testimonials in the center of it. It's absolutely phenomenal how quickly she can put these together. Now, she's using a standard editing program from Windows, Windows Movie Magic, I believe it is, or Movie Maker 7. That's what she's using. But when this webinar is over, take a minute or two and go to youtube.com/Sunset Honda and look at some of the stuff Elise Kephart's doing here. Okay, let's go back to the email that I just sent to myself from Randy. Okay, there it is, right there at the top. YouTube service. James A. Ziegler sent you a video. This is it. Now, this is exactly what the consumer is going to see. But notice I emailed it to myself. Now, the reason I emailed it to myself, watch what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to hit forward. Okay, I'm going to take my signature stuff out of there. I mean, that's not necessary to forward that on to anybody. I'm going to take this little bit of text over here out. And then I'm going to take the word forward out so they think it's an original. I'm going to send it back to myself. This is very important. Everybody gets this concept. I'm sending it back to myself. But then I'm going to go over here and hit blind carbon copy, BCC. That means everybody can't see each other's email addresses. And I'm going to write in Ziegler. Notice down here I've got some lists. Now, I put these lists in, see, Ziegler List 1, Ziegler List 2, Dealer Association List, 57 names, 76 names, 88 names. Everybody sees all of that right in there? Okay, I'm going to pick out one of these lists, Ziegler List 1. 88 address. Oh, look at that. I just put 88 addresses that are going to receive this email. Now, if I hit send, which I'm not going to do, all 88 people would receive this long tail description, maximized video about the car that we just got in. Now, folks, this is rocket science. This is absolutely phenomenal. You can get opt-in lists of your own customers, and when you get a piece of unique merchandise, like Randy and Jen have here, Gainesville Cars, you can send it out to your whole list that you just got this car in, and the results are exponentially magnified by the number of people in the list. Now, do not put more than 100 people in that list. You notice my list cap out at 88 people. This is my biggest list. So I repeat this process over and over again. And right now I'm going to cancel it because I don't want to accidentally send that to my list. And you say, Ziegler, do you really do this? Yeah. See all this stuff down here? That's mass emails I send out to different lists. So once again, we're doing exactly what we say we do. You're going to get a lot of traffic here, a lot of people visiting my Facebook page. Now, one of the other things we're doing that we're having a lot of success with, I'm going to put these two channels away. One thing we're having a lot of success with is iJot. EYEJOT. EYEJOT.com. Now, iJot requires a webcam on top of your. You have to have a webcam to do this. You can't do it without one. Now, I'm going to log in, or maybe I will. Maybe I won't. It depends on whether or not I remember my password here. Okay, I didn't realize it was going to make me do this. And I don't know my password. Okay. Anyway, because I didn't hit save password last time I was here. I'm going to make one more stab at it. I think I know what it might be. It's not. Anyway, let me just tell you about iJot a little bit. iJot allows you to use a webcam to send instant videos to consumers. I mean, it's absolutely astounding. You need to use it. You need to have it. It's one of those things that I would definitely, if I were a dealer today, have available. And, of course, Twitter is really not something that you would use to sell cars. And I know there's a lot of people frowning out there, but Twitter is more of a director of traffic than it is a way to sell cars. It's a way to set up different groups. Now, this is my real Twitter network right now. I'm using an application called TweetDeck. Now, I've got almost 22,000 people that are followers of mine on Twitter, and most of them are in the automobile industry. Now, notice the feed right here is moving really fast. When you got 22,000 people, your feed moves rather fast. So what I've done is I've segmented them into groups. I've got the auto marketing group. I've got SM, and that doesn't mean anything kinky. That's social media. Okay. Not whips and chains and little leather motorcycle hats. No. NADA convention. Their hash mark is NADA 2012, and I'm following anything anybody says about the NADA convention. I'm speaking, by the way, this year, and I'm doing 20 persuasive processes to sell F&I. First time I've spoken about F&I in about 10 years. I've been speaking a lot on the internet, but this year I'm speaking on F&I. If you come out to the NADA convention, I hope you stop by my seminar. Driving sales, DMSC, I'm speaking at that event too. That's Brian Pash's event just before NADA. I've got the Alpha Dog blog here. So in other words, one thing you do with Twitter is you send people places and you monitor groups and situations. You can create your dealership's own hash mark, your own group, and have your customers follow it. So you notice I've got a lot of stuff going there. Matter of fact, there's Response Logics who's sponsoring this webinar. They're announcing this webinar. So they drove some of the traffic we've got here today using Twitter. So I'm trying to give everybody a pretty broad overview on what we're doing and how we're doing it. You're not going to change the world in 45 minutes, but I'm showing you basically what I've been doing and how we've been doing it. Charlie, are you still around?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We can't open this up for questions, or can we?
Yes, definitely we can. We'd like to do that, and I'm even going to begin, Jim, with going right to the beginning because you started off the presentation with that wonderful picture of your family. And, a lot of people are in Facebook, and, I know you mentioned that you got into it with a lot of your business connections, but how do you weigh between your family connections, or do you even use Facebook for that at all?
I do. The thing about Facebook is I've got it segmented into groups.
Uh-huh.
I've got auto dealers, people that are associated with auto dealerships. I've got people that are associated with Great Britain. I have a huge social network on eacademy.com, which is the British social network. I've got about 25,000 people on that. When Debbie and I went to London here a couple years ago, 65 people drove hundreds of miles. They took boats, trains, planes, and had a party for us.
Wow.
I mean, I'm a member of eAcademy. I'm what they call a Black Star member. So they take their social media very seriously in Great Britain. I mean, they actually have a lot of offline meetings. They actually have a lot of parties, meetings. They socialize on and offline, and the Black Star thing is really important. And I'm a big part of that, and I'm one of the very few American Black Stars that's reached that level because they actually did a full background check before they would even let me be a Black Star, if you could imagine. I mean,
wow.
They take it really seriously. So I've got the British people. I've got the speakers. I'm a certified speaking professional in the National Speakers Association, and which is pretty high designation. And so I've got professional speakers in one group, and I can segment those groups. I can send emails to them and whatnot. And I tell people to do that. Now, if you're looking over here on the side, you can look at, let me go back to my profile. Remember the ad we created earlier? See, there's an ad for American Express right there. There's an ad for Kaufman Tire right there. Those ads are absolutely sent specifically to my demographic, whatever they put in. So if you put an ad for a certain kind of car customer, it will appear right there, a certain employer, whatever. But as far as your personal stuff, don't do all business. I've got some business things here on my page, but I've also got a lot of fun stuff. My Facebook page is /James A. Ziegler. I put some funny stuff up there from time to time, like this sign here.
Yeah.
yeah, and we get a lot of comments on it.
Now,
there's my house. We just decorated it for Christmas.
Subtle. I noticed you're missing one of the lights is out on the upper left there. You might want to check that.
What can I say?
Jeez.
Hey,
Jim? How much time do you spend on this then, Jim? Are you in Facebook daily, hours a day, or how much?
Hour. What I've got, when we moved the business back to the home back in 2008, what we did at that point was I redid my entire office. I've got 3 screens on this computer. And I keep Twitter and Facebook on the screen most of the time, but I work on the other screen. I'll look over there and glance over there, and if I see something, I'll respond to it. But people get the impression I'm on Facebook 100% of the time. I am not.
Well, with a guy like you that travels so much, that can't be easy when you're on the road.
Well, mobile right now is so big, and I'm carrying a tablet. I've got the new Galaxy Droid Pad, and I've got the Droid X phone, and people have internet wherever they're at.
Right.
I might fly for an hour, but I'm in airports and traveling 4 hours to get there and back. So, Charles, you travel. The public is with mobile technology today. They've got the ability, and if your website isn't handheld maximized, you're losing out. That's a fact.
Well, and again, I'm going to jump to questions here, but I just comment as I travel, and I like to reach out every now and then, but then obviously you do get the responses, and then you're compelled to respond to the responses, and one begets the other, and all of a sudden at one point you do need to move on to the next subject. So.
Well, I'm not going to get into the subject itself, but everybody's aware that I've started a major blog about TrueCar. And I'm not going to get into the subject, but we have gotten in 2 weeks over 35,000 page views on the blog where I put that up.
Wow.
35,000 people have unique, different people have viewed that blog. I mean, we got the social media today toppling countries.
Yep.
This is absolutely powerful.
Yep.
And people say you can't sell cars on social media. I'm going to say, you're right, you can't. But my dealers are. Yep. I've got a dealer in Ohio right now, a small-town dealer, who has increased their dealership gross profit by $1 million a year. That dealership is in a small community, 40 miles out of Cleveland, near a lake, so they haven't got a whole lot of geography around. They only got half a market. And video, we're sending every customer a video back when they inquire on the internet. We're not sending them a flat text. And we've increased a 100-unit dealership. We've increased them in units and gross profit $1 million a year, Charlie.
That's amazing.
I mean,
just off of social media.
Not all with social media.
Right.
I did some other things.
But using social media, right.
Yeah. There were some process changes and all. But we've increased them. And I got more war stories we got time to talk about where we've done that recently.
Well, let's get to the questions here, Jim, real quick. I want to make sure we have time for those. Jeremy, do you have some?
I do. I have a question from Cynthia Castor. She's in a new dealership, and she wants to know, how do you promote your Facebook page, your website, and Twitter?
Okay.
And before you answer, for attendees, they can go to the top of their screen, should see a little tab, and use the chat feature for questions.
Okay. I'm not looking at that chat. Should I look at it too?
No, I'll just read them to you.
Okay,
so Cynthia wants to know, how does she promote her? Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, you need to start signing up all of your customers. Whether you do it in the F&I office, the service department, the parts department, you need to have, the simple question, are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Would you like to receive specials from us? Now, by the way, your service department's got to be involved in your Facebook fan page. Remember, sales sells the car, service department keeps the customer. So, service specials, do not hold contests. Facebook will kick you off and take your page down if you have contests and some people try to give away iPads and all. That's illegal by Facebook rules. You can't tell people if they like you that they'll get a prize, but you can definitely sign them up in the dealership. And one of my little black hat sort of techniques, I don't know if it's black hat, but one thing I do is if I get one of my customers to get on my fan page, I go look and see who their friends are and invite them. I start. Your salespeople, your service people, your office people, everybody in your dealership needs to make an effort to get their friends on your fan page. Everybody in the dealership needs to make a concentrated effort to grow it. And some of the bigger dealerships I'm working with, we've got a person we call the ambassador, generally a mature woman who is involved in all of the social media. That's her only job. She doesn't answer phones or file papers. No, she is the social media ambassador of the dealership. That is a position we've been created in a number of big stores. Additional questions, guys?
I'm not seeing any more questions right now, but again, type them up in the top. You'll see a green tab, and use the chat feature there.
Charlie, what were you thinking?
Well, I the one that you brought up was iJot, and I hadn't spent much time on that, Jim, so I'm excited to go back.
I'm sorry, I forgot my password.
That's all right.
That's one problem with social media. You're so afraid that somebody's going to hack into your social media. I'm constantly changing these passwords, and if they don't auto show up, I have to try 3 or 4 before I get the right one.
That's all right. But we'll want to take a look at that and see what that's about. So, again, as you pointed out, in the very beginning, this is where the people are, and particularly of the millennials and the younger generation. I see so much of people that are even using YouTube as a search engine now. as opposed to even a Google or Yahoo.
Let me show you something that's really kind of cool.
Got some questions rolling in here too.
Okay, let me go to Google for a second. I'm going to put in Google. I'm going to put in Toyota Corolla, Torrance. Now, isn't Torrance the hometown of Toyota Corolla?
That is the headquarters for Toyota U.S. sales.
Yep. Okay, we got a couple paid ones up here. These are paid. What is the number one natural organic search engine bringing up here? Scott Robinson Honda. I know you're looking for a Toyota Corolla, but have you considered the Honda Civic, is what this man is saying.
Yep.
What an embarrassment for Toyota in their own hometown. Scott Robinson Honda comes up the first 5 or 6 in Google when you put in Toyota Corolla, Torrance, California. Look at this. And the reason for it is when most people use Google, they use 3 things. They use a city, a make of car, and a model of car. Those are the 3 main search words that most people put in. So Scott Robinson Honda has bought all of the combinations of Toyota Camry Torrance.com, Toyota Corolla Torrance.com. They bought their competitors' market. I see so many dealers that, and you're not allowed to say if you were a Honda dealership, advertise Honda in another market. You can't use it, but you can certainly go up against Toyota or Nissan. I mean, people are not doing creative things like this with their search words. What questions do we have, guys?
We got a couple about YouTube here. Let's go to Iris. Claudio asks, she just tried to add her phone number to her video. Can you advise? I think she's maybe referring to how Elise had the phone number on the screen.
Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to put this down. We'll go to, there's my, is my little granddaughter cute or what?
Now she says in the description, in the description, she wants to know how to get the phone number in there.
Okay. This is a program that's free. It's called Windows Live Movie Maker. And it's real easy. You drag a video in here, and you go. I'm gonna drag one just.
A lot of questions rolling in.
Yeah, these are already edited videos. I don't think they'll drag in. I don't have any raw footage on this thing. Or do I? Hang on a second. Maybe I do. Did that drag in? No. These are already edited videos. They won't drag. Let's see if I can find one that's not edited. When you have a raw footage video, you drag it here, and you notice up here at the top it says title, caption, credits right there. Right there. If I had a video in there, which I don't have any raw footage here, I'm sorry, but if I had raw footage that I had just shot, I would drag it here, and when I did that, I could hit caption and put the phone number right over the bottom of the screen. And if I'd have been a little more thoughtful, I'd have had some raw footage here that I could have showed you an editing process. I wasn't anticipating doing that. But it's real simple. Let's see if I've got any raw footage on this thing. I could show you some. Let's see here. Nope, all that stuff is edited.
She's also curious about how to get that phone number into the description of the video, too.
Oh, that's real simple. Oh, that is the easiest thing of all. I'm going to get out of the editing program, go back to YouTube. All right, I'll put that up. I don't need that right now.
And along that train of thought, we have another question. Is video the most successful way to get a customer in the door?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because video is the first time we've had the opportunity and ability to project personality. The first time we've had the ability to put a personality on the dealership, to put a face on the dealership. I'll tell you something I'm doing with video. If anybody's in a military town and you've got a wife or even a husband shopping with a husband's power of attorney, and the husband's over in Afghanistan, say I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fort Bragg, and the husband is in Afghanistan, the wife is shopping with a power of attorney, she's real nervous. What if you made a video of her showing her husband the car, put it up on YouTube, and let him help her make the decision? Or a college student that needs dad to co-sign, dad's in another city. Or you have a customer that just came in your dealership and they left, and they're making a decision to buy the car. You can send them a video. Hi, Miss Jenkins, this is me. This is Jim Ziegler. This is what I look like. I'm the guy that helped you at Superior Nissan, and this is the car you looked at while you were here. This is the Maxima that we drove together. I want to give you a little walk around on it, help you make your decision. Nobody's doing that. Okay, here we go. Now remember the back screen. Now, here's that lady's question from earlier. How do you put a phone number in there? You go to description and you put 8. -0510. Boom, I put the phone number in. That's simple. There it is right there. That'll appear in the description, and it'll actually block as a clickable. Did that answer that question pretty adequately?
I think so. Joe Healy, he asks, what is the advantage of iJot compared to video?
iJot, man, I wish I could get that up. I am so apologetic. iJot gives you the ability to make a video really quickly. I use it for conversational video. You know, if I want to just have a conversation, hey, John and Martha, Jim Ziegler, I got your inquiry. I'm going to be contacting you here in a couple minutes.
Joe Healy's amending his question. Co-video. I'm not familiar with co-video.
I'm not. Is co-video a service? I mean, there's a lot of services like this.
We'll see if he types in a little more here. We have a dealer who uses iJot as well. Ricky Lopez uses it to great effect. He's at Greenway Chrysler Jeep Dodge down in Orlando, Florida.
I've been teaching a lot down in Central Florida. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't some of my influence that got that done. You know, it's kind of interesting because I stumbled across this about 3 years ago. There are some vendors right now selling identical service for $995 a year, or even more. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, iJot is $95 a year for the upgraded version that does all the tricks. And I'm going to tell people, buy the upgraded version of iJot when you buy it. And the reason you want to do that is because you don't want, if you're a Ford store, you don't want a Chevrolet dealership appearing with an ad right next to you. You know, I apologize. I do not know my login on this thing.
You know, as I'm looking into it while you're talking also, Jim, I totally agree with you because, you know, I have a tendency to be a little bit of a wise guy every now and then. And I don't ever intend to be mean or cruel, but, you know, sometimes it just comes off that way because obviously emotion is easily lost in emails. And it seems like that through facial expressions, et cetera, you know, with a little video, you can convey a message more clearly.
Well, with my several hundred videos up here, and now Grant Cardone and I get along fairly well for competitors. I mean, we're not enemies by any means. So I'm not talking down about Grant. Grant and I, you know, we get along pretty good. About 6 months ago, I get a call from Grant because I had used Grant as one of my tag words, Grant Cardone, in virtually every one of my videos. And, of course, every time Grant Cardone showed up in a Google search, I was showing up with him. And, you know, just a little thought in the car business, translate that into what you could do. Got any more questions up there, big guy?
Here's a quick one from Bruce. Bruce asks, do you have any recommendations for customized Facebook fan pages? anyone that's doing it really well?
Well, I'll tell you, Mouthful Media does mine. You know, I'm not a technical guy. I have trouble finding the on switch, you know, but I know how to operate the internet. A lot of people say, well, I'm not a programmer, I'm not this. You don't have to be. I don't know how to fix a car, but I know how to drive one. All you have to do is know what these applications will do and describe it to somebody. I use Mouthful Media out on the West Coast. It's a couple that does my stuff, and they watch it for me, and they keep it going, and they do a real good job of the search engine maximization of them. If you ever Google up my name, here we go.
Not knowing to what degree they do get involved, Jim, it begs the question, as a lot of the dealers are out there really, in their forte is selling cars, they want to be engaged in social media. What about some of these third-party services now that take care of the social media aspect of the dealership?
Well, they do that. Mouthful Media is one of the ones that I use, a third party. But I do all my own stuff on my personal page. Mouthful Media is my alter ego on my other 5 fan pages. And they will post things when I'm not paying attention to those pages as me. But I always get a message that was done, and I usually get personally involved.
Yeah.
I just pulled my own name up in Google, and I got 35,900,000 results. Now, I am not every Jim Ziegler in the world, but I'm most of the ones I'm most of those. I'm certainly all of them on the first 10 pages. Look how many videos come up in the search. Video is so powerful. Don't ignore video by any means. And look here, number 3 is my LinkedIn. LinkedIn came up very high on the search here, if you notice.
Lisa Crosby asks, you mentioned a social media ambassador. Can you elaborate on this position? Where does it fall within the corporate structure chain? Is it a management?
Part of the internet department.
Okay.
Definitely part of the internet department. This person will join the Kiwanis Club. This person will join the Junior JCs or whatever. I mean, it's a really great thing. Now, I want you to notice something about my Google here that just popped up. See this over here? That's eAcademy. Remember I talked about the people in Great Britain? eAcademy does some of the best search engine maximization I've ever seen. That's my eAcademy page right there. And it's all public. Now, if you notice on eAcademy, this is the British Facebook. I've got 25,156 friends and followers. Now, the founders of eAcademy are Thomas Power and Penny Power. Now, and their logo is they wear pink shirts. That's their thing. They founded eAcademy, which is the British Facebook. Debbie and I had the pink demand hats made up and presented it to them when we went to London a couple years ago. I make a lot of money on this little site. I sell prosperity equation stuff. I've got a number of things. This site is set up to sell. There's the love of our life, Sadie, by the way. Love our King Charles.
Well, I'm going to assume that's after the granddaughter. I'll just throw that in there.
Yeah. After the granddaughter really is first place.
Okay.
What else we got? What questions have we got, Charlie?
Well, we're just about out of time, Jeremy. How are we doing?
Questions are coming in, but I think maybe we'll wrap it up with Lisa Crosby has one more question. How does Elise Kephart get a video that includes a vehicle walk-around uploaded and emailed within 6 to 7 minutes?
I could say come to the internetbattleplan.com and watch her do it, but I'm going to say some of her footage is pre-shot, and she just drags it right in to Windows Movie Maker Live. She only actually records a minute of intro and a minute of outro, and she throws up the phone number over top of it, which is all, she's got this thing so automated, you ought to watch her do it. My friend Todd Sherrill in Burton, Ohio at Preston Superstore He'll send out a couple hundred iJot videos in 2 hours.
Oh.
In 2 hours. He'll take Kia will send him all these email leads, and he'll sit there in front of his webcam and make several hundred of them in a couple hours. Personalized. Hello, Justine. I just got your inquiry. I'm Todd Sherrill. I'm at Preston Superstore, Burton, Ohio. My phone number's on the screen, and I know you're looking for a Kia Sorento, and we've got 7 of them in stock. Call me, or I'm going to be researching I'll get you any information you need. I mean, he's got that back to her that quick. And by the way, for a webcam, if you're going to be using a webcam, use a Logitech 9000 Pro, because that has a zoom feature, and it has a feature that follows your face. It's about $60 or $70 on the internet. If you're going to use a webcam and you don't have one built in your computer, Logitech 9000 Pro. How we doing, Justin?
We have. I'll go. This will be our last one.
Yes.
How does a dealership optimize their search engine relevance to appear on the first page instead of 6?
Well, golly, I'll tell you, that is not my forte. That's Brian Pash you're talking about there. Brian Pash is just him and Paul Potritz and some of those guys are search engine. I have a guy that helps me with it. I have a webmaster that's pretty good at it, J.C. Hurst. I don't claim to be an SEO expert, but there are a lot of those people out there. But the little tricks I showed you, using the same tags on every one of your videos, not varying them, long tail descriptions, putting website addresses in this, some of that is good, but press releases is another thing that dealerships need to do a lot of for SEO. We'll put out a press release, and I'll show you real quickly what a press release, how powerful they can be. Okay. Jim Ziegler and DealerTrack host Internet Battle Plan. That was the last one we did. DealerTrack was one of the sponsors. 21,800 publications picked up that press release. It was picked up by 21,000. If you look at some of them, the Inventory Blog, World News Network. I mean, look at the quality of who picked this thing up. I mean, dealerships don't use press releases. If you do something special for the community, like a charity or something, look at all that. This is World News Network. I mean, this is big time. Look how many of my press releases they picked up. What is it, 6 or 7 of them? I mean, press releases are, if you do something for the community, you do a Christmas charity, you give people Thanksgiving dinners, you help the Boy Scouts, you supply uniforms for the Little League baseball team, you put out a press release. I mean, a press release is going to cost you a lot of money, about $60, $70, $80 on PR Newswire. Look at the power of the press releases I put out here. I mean, it's just incredible. I hope I did a good service for the people listening. I tried to cram a lot of information into a short time.
Yeah, Jim, I've seen you in person, and certainly I know you've got a lot more to say, and I hope everyone out there realizes that. And we really appreciate you taking the time to share your ideas with us, and I particularly appreciate you throwing your own screen up there and adding the practical nature to the whole thing rather than talking in theory. So
it's really difficult doing it live internet. It's scary sometimes. It
is difficult, and but again, I think it's much more useful for those that pay attention to it, because it's real stuff. So we always try and keep this to an hour. We've gone a little bit over, and we appreciate everyone's time. We'll continue the series, but again, it's the quality people like Jim Ziegler that join us that makes it all worth our while. So thanks so much, Jim.
My email address is Ziegler, ZIEGLERSS @AOL.com. I've been using AOL since '96. If anybody wants to get in touch with Mouthful Media or me, email me at that address.
Sounds good. Well, once again, thanks so much, and we'll begin the new year with a whole new webinar series, and we'll get the word out to everyone that's on there now. And thanks again, Jim. We'll look forward to either seeing you in Atlanta before or at NADA in Las Vegas in February.
Hey, thank you, Charlie. You're a good friend. German.
All right. Bye now.